John Deere is making moves in the battery space, and speaking of batteries, I've got some thoughts on how companies are comparing battery and gas equipment. NASCAR built a temporary racetrack on top of a football field, and I want more people to understand my hobby a little bit better. It's another full episode of the Cherish Each Moment podcast. So it was announced recently that John Deere acquired a majority ownership in the battery tech company Kreisel Electric Inc. The deal went down in December, but the more recent announcement is that the deal actually got the regulatory approval that just basically seals the deal, makes it completely official. So this actually is done now. This is pretty interesting. I'm not sure I've seen John Deere do anything battery related in the homeowner market yet. I'm sure it's just a matter of time, especially since they're adding to their company some more technology. They're making acquisitions, all that stuff. I know they recently announced an electric tractor, which is pretty cool and pretty interesting. Like any other company, though, I'll be curious to see what they do in the electric space. I want to see what kind of technological contributions they can bring to the market to drive competition and continue to evolve things within that electric space, especially in the homeowner market. Obviously, that's where I'm paying most of my attention. And sometimes things commercially come up, and I'm keeping an eye on that too, but not nearly as interested in the commercial stuff as I am the homeowner market. It's still kind of weird to think about, but I really don't see electric equipment going away. Obviously, it's not going away. I think the best thing to do is just to keep tabs on it, be involved with it, and keep the conversation going. And speaking of conversation, my friend Michael Bowman, you know him as BYD. He's the man behind the Bermuda Grass Central YouTube channel. He's been posting some good content on his pages when he visits the hardware stores. He's keeping an eye on the market, and it's been really helpful keeping me updated too. It's nice to see what other people see. The other day, he shared a poster up near the lawnmowers in what looked to be a Walmart. I haven't asked him, but I'm pretty sure it was a Walmart because I spotted a Heart branded box in the video. Anyways, he posted a chart comparison that was marketing the differences between gas and electric equipment. And the key word there is marketing. It was very clearly obvious to me that the whole purpose of this poster is to show that, or at least try to show that batteries are keeping up with gas. Here's the list of categories this chart was comparing. Long-term savings, lightweight, vertical storage, push or self-propelled, quiet operation, maintenance-free, single-point adjustment, pull start, push-button start, engine, large yard, bagging, mulching, and side discharging, and zero emissions. So they had those down one column, and then they had a checkbox in each of the two columns next to it telling you if the battery equipment had that or the gas equipment had that, or if they both had that. They got check marks. So some of these categories make sense and are fair comparisons. A couple of these, though, well, let's break it down. The first one that kind of made me chuckle a little bit was maintenance free. First of all, the standard maintenance on a gas mower is not that difficult. It's pretty simple. Yes, changing the oil can be a little messy. I get that. And a lot of the new gas lawnmowers are advertising no oil changes. Have you seen that? You just need to check the oil level and make sure it's within range. And if it's low, you add oil. Keeping the batteries charged on a battery mower is considered maintenance, in my opinion. You have to stay on top of that. Otherwise, they're not going to work. Also important for any mower, regardless of power source, is keeping your blades sharp. That's huge. You can't argue that. So to say that battery-operated mowers are maintenance-free is false advertising. You got to keep the underside of the deck clean too, by the way. Next item on that chart that stood out to me was favoring both the gas and the electric mower for large yards. I'd be curious to know, whoever put this chart together, what their definition of a large yard is. Because you've got two 21-inch lawnmowers side by side, one electric, one gas, and they're good for a large yard. So I'll be conservative with this next statement. Any yard larger than 8,000 to 10,000 square feet, I would not recommend looking at these 21-inch mowers. I'd be looking at a wide area walk-behind mower at least. I'm thinking Toro Time Master here. If you're planning on using an electric mower for a quote-unquote large yard, you better plan on buying a couple of extra batteries with your mower. You're going to need them. The last thing about this chart that kind of rubbed me wrong wasn't even on the chart. A fair comparison of gas and electric mowers would have to mention power or torque. Other than battery life and battery charge time, this is one of the biggest selling points in my opinion. I'm also of the opinion that there isn't an electric mower on the market yet, at least that I've seen, and the only one that might fit that bill is the new Milwaukee unit I've mentioned a couple episodes ago. But there isn't an electric mower on the market whose torque or power matches or exceeds that of its gas-powered equivalent. They just aren't there yet. And if there is one, it's probably not available to homeowners. It's probably a commercial unit. And I'm willing to bet that the first models that claim to, again, looking at Milwaukee here, I'm guessing are going to be battery suckers. And to put a bow on my point here, the Milwaukee mower comes with two 12 amp hour batteries and is advertising only an hour of runtime with both of those batteries. I would think 12 amp hours would last a little longer than an hour, especially if there's two of them in there. If you're mowing consistently and not cutting off too much grass, you won't necessarily need equivalent power between your battery mower and a gas mower. That's one of the nice things. If you're staying on top of regular maintenance and cutting often, not taking much off, not putting a lot of stress on the motor, you're not going to use as much battery. It's not going to work as hard, and it's going to be fine. But there are times you're going to need that power. Say, for example, you go on vacation and the grass grows long, or you decide you want to start cutting shorter. Without that power, you won't be able to cut through that thick grass very easily. A lot of people like to cut their lawn shorter just before winter. I'm somebody that does that. And these battery mowers that I've seen and used can't do it. They struggle. They need more torque. But anyways, thanks to BYD for taking the time to put that content out there. I appreciate him. And because of him taking the time to do that, I'm able to put some extra thoughts together for you guys. So continue to monitor the battery equipment and battery technology and see how it continues to progress. It's going to keep progressing. I know it is. And it's just a matter of time before it's where I would love for it to be. But it's not there right now. So, again, thanks to BYD for that. Maybe we should have him on the show. I have to reach out to him, see if he wants to come on the show, talk about stuff like this. So if you didn't know, NASCAR started off its season a couple weeks ago now with an exhibition race in Los Angeles at the Memorial Coliseum. And this is a historic stadium, home of the USC Trojans football team. I've been there. It's been several years, but I did get a chance to go there and take a look at it. Incredible facility. Massive. Full of history. Really cool place. Well, NASCAR decided it was going to temporarily take over the stadium to host an event with a series of heat races and a 150-lap feature race on a quarter-mile track. And if I remember right, that is the shortest track that NASCAR has ever raced on, at least in recent history. They broke ground on December 21st and had the track lines painted and ready to go on January 24th. And that was all set, ready for race day on February 6th. And they did it on top of the football field. It's pretty cool. Here's what they did. This is from NASCAR.com. First, a thick plastic barrier of visqueen sheeting, which is clear plastic sheeting, was put down on the grass. Turf and red dirt, basically the entire floor level of the stadium. And then plywood was placed on top, and together those layers make up 130,000 square feet of protection. A sheet of geotextile woven fabric lies as a divider between the protective measure and the track rumble. It prevents any slipping and sliding too. Crushed miscellaneous base, 9,200 cubic yards worth. That's a lot of material. Gives the surface a majority of the depth. There's a foot of the fill below the flat infield and 4 feet on the outside with 2.5 degree banking in the turns. And the cool thing about that is they made that decision and planned that out with the 2.5 degrees and a lot of the way that the track would look on a simulator, on an iRacing simulator. I think that's pretty cool. They're using technology to design the track and to kind of get a feel of what it's going to be like before they even build it. Asphalt then covers everything, obviously. 6,900 square yards to pave the track and apron. 6,800 for the infield, adding another 4 inches deep. So I can only imagine the anxiety this gave the grounds crew. But from what I've been reading, it sounds like things were planned and planned really well. And as they were progressing and building this out and kind of going through the motions here, the grounds crew became less and less concerned. And I'll bet by football season, you'd never know the track was ever even there. A couple days after the race even, they were already tearing it up, getting it out of there. Something funny from this article, there were a couple of patches of grass from the football field still exposed and untouched. And one of the grounds crew guys still needed to cut it. And to do it, he had to push the lawnmower across the track to get there. I love it. I love the commitment. That's just awesome. So overall, this was a pretty amazing transformation. There's a really cool time lapse of the process online. And it was cool to watch the race and to think about being there and seeing it as a football field last time I was there and seeing a racetrack there now. And really, really cool. I'll be trying to find info and updates as they work towards removing the track and restoring the football field and getting ready for football season. That's, I think, where the real story is. And I'm going to try and find it. And if I can find some good stuff, we'll bring it here. So stay tuned and hopefully we can learn more about that. So I want to touch on something that came up in a comment I received from a clip of a previous episode. I responded to him already, but I hope Travis is listening here because I just want to say thanks to him for bringing up this topic and for listening to the show and for watching my videos. Travis mentioned in his comment that his wife thinks his passion for lawn care is a bit crazy. And I think a lot of us who are married can relate to that a little bit. Even those of us who aren't married, I'm sure have close friends or relatives who know that we're a little obsessed with lawn care. I'm sure we have those people in our lives that just think we're weird. It's a common perspective. But I'm here to say, with complete honesty, that to have that perspective is to have a complete misunderstanding. So let me explain. Most everyone has a hobby or two or more. And these hobbies are outlets. They're ways we can escape reality or the day-to-day grind for a bit. Some people read, some people watch movies, some people golf. Some people literally get away and go on vacations throughout the year. Well, some of us escape right outside and go to the lawn. Taking an hour or two or however long it takes you each week to step outside and immerse yourself in your lawn, focusing on nothing else other than making it look just a little bit better and adding your own personal touch to it. Blocking out the whole world with either music in your headphones or the noise of the lawnmower. Even just being outside in general has its own benefits and its own healing effects. To those who think we're crazy, please understand that it's just our own version of a therapeutic escape. I work really hard during the week. I'm busy helping out around the house when I'm not working, and we have a pretty active family. Everybody's got something going on, and I'm sure your life is pretty similar. Everybody needs somewhere to unwind, somewhere to reset, somewhere to clear your head. For me, I do it in the yard. And not only do I find therapy in the process, I have something I can look at throughout that entire process that progresses much like I do. And it reminds me that I have a place there. I love seeing the fruits of my labor. I love looking at something that I've put so much time and effort into and feeling all the feelings of pride and accomplishment that come with that. Being able to look at my lawn after feeling so good about how it looks that I just took several pictures of it to post on my social media, and being able to say, I did that, is the high that I strive for each and every week. So, with all of that being said, the TLDR version of all of this is, it's not crazy. It's therapy. So I hope that's a good explanation. Thanks again to Travis for bringing up this topic. I'm sure you didn't intend for it to turn into a segment on the show, but here we are. I think it's an important conversation to have, and hopefully what I said can be used in conversation with those close to you who you might think, or who might think you are a little bit crazy. So I'd say we are just about into teasing season here. I know some of you are as well. You get a taste of the warmer 50-degree high temperature days, and then the next day you've got snow coming down. We had that today. And by the end of the week, you're back up into the 50s again, right? It's not really very fun right now, but the good news is that spring is just around the corner. We'll be here before we know it. It's just about time to start thinking about your pre-emergent plans. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for listening, for cherishing these moments with me. Until next time, see ya!